Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's video. As you can tell from the title and of the thumbnail, today is going to be another guide video, and I've done a couple of these for Uncharted back in the day, but I've never really done one for Fortnite. Now the concept for this video I've actually had in my mind for several months now, and I've mentioned it I think in a couple of videos in the past, a long time ago, and a couple of times I've mentioned it on stream as well, and there's been some interesting people, and I said I would get it done, and I never really got around to it for some reason. And so over the past couple of weeks I've sort of just not necessarily forced myself, but I've been playing a bit less because of various reasons, so I thought I'd use the time instead to finally get this video completed. Now, I've been playing Fortnite for a very long time, and I have designated callouts for landing zones on the map. And sometimes when I play with randoms or when I play with people I don't usually play with, and I call these locations and they're like, what are you talking about? What, you want to land here or what? And so we end up just using the marker, but it's a lot easier. I mean, obviously the marker's always going to be there. It's definitely a handy tool and you should always use it where possible, but you don't always need to mark it. Like if you can call out a location, it's a lot quicker to identify in my mind than it is to call out coordinates or to call out a landmark and try and describe it. You know, that funny looking rock over there doesn't really help anyone, if you know what I mean. The map guide actually comes in two parts. Now, this first video is classified as the first part, so it covers when you're about to jump off the bus, you know, where you're going to land for the first time entering the map, and then of course when you travel the map generically, where you want to go after you've landed. So where's the next point you want to loot, where's the next point you want to attack, or whatever. As you can see on screen right now, this is the Fortnite Battle Royale map, and this is the island, this is the whole island, and I believe this was the image that was released at the start of Season 5. That's how long I've been sitting on this project for, well, longer than that actually. This map was released by Epic officially, so it's the start of Season 5 basically, and I've had this concept a lot longer than Season 5, but when this map came out, it gave me the opportunity to do what I wanted to do, because it's a high resolution map, really clear, everything was marked out properly, and I could have gone into a game and just screenshotted the map, you know, zoomed in a bit, but I did try that, and it wasn't actually very good quality, so I wasn't necessarily waiting for this, but when this came out, that was it. I knew that this was the time to do this video. So as you can see, the map I have split into 4 sections, so you got top left A, top right B, bottom right C, and then bottom left D, and on the next few slides you'll see that I have zoomed in on those sections and I have listed the locations that I normally call out to my teammates. Obviously, you know, some people have their own names for certain locations, that's fine. There's no one right or wrong way to call out a location, but the ones that I use are fairly standard, pretty simple, and hopefully there's not a lot of confusion when I use them. We've got past the stage now where we don't even need to do coordinates anymore. If we know landmarks, then it's a lot easier to just call out the landmark and we're going to head over to that direction. Or if enemies were fighting in a certain location, we can say, oh yeah, let's head over there, or let's flank this way, or whatever. So we don't have to worry about left or right, which is never a good situation to be in. You don't ever want to be calling out left or right unless you're all facing in the same direction, which is very rare. And you don't have to worry about coordinates, which are good, but take time to obviously to call out. You've got to take your eye off the screen, you've got to look at the coordinates, you've got to call them out, and then the other teammates got to then look at their compass to see where their coordinates are facing, and then they've got to adjust accordingly. And again, this depends on where you're standing on the map. So if you're quite far away from each other, when someone calls out a certain coordinate and you're not standing close, then the coordinates technically are different from where you're standing, so it's not always 100% accurate. The best way really to identify locations is to use the marker, but if you're going to stop, pull out the map, put the marker down, and then expect your teammates to pull out their map to see where the marker is before engaging or heading to that location, especially when in a gunfight, it's not going to happen. It is going to get you killed. It is going to take too long for any of that to take effect. So best thing to do is learn the locations, learn the landmarks, and then just call them out. As you can see from the screenshot, basically, these are the callouts that I use and a lot of my friends use, and I've heard some pubs use them as well, but there's always going to be a bit of confusion when you don't play with a regular group of people. They're not always going to know what you're talking about, and I've created this video, and these screenshots, by the way, you can pause the video obviously to look at them in more detail if you want to, but if it's easier to do so, you can visit the website ecomvision.com, which is my website basically, and I have these pictures on there, so you can click on the picture and you can scroll, you know, you can zoom in and make it a little bit bigger, and it's a lot easier to stick it static as well rather than having to open a YouTube video to watch them, but it's entirely up to you how you do it. To make it easier for you, I've also linked the article in the description below, so if you'd rather not type in the URL, then you can just click on the link down below in the description section. I just think that if everyone's, and again, I'm not trying to say that my way is the best way to do it, but as I said, some people do have different callouts for different things, but I've tried to simplify it as much as possible and to actually highlight the different locations as to what they are. So certain locations aren't designated with a name, but it's pretty clean cut what they are because the building has a title on it or something like that. And I've basically just used that name to call it that location, and Obviously, if you don't visit these areas that often, you might not have ever paid attention to what the building's called, but you might know generically that that building is, is whatever. So if I give it a name and you know what that name is, then obviously when you call it out next time, everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know that building, and we can all go there accordingly or whatever. Anyway, I just thought it was a nice little training tool for, beginner players, but also expert players as well. I mean, there are times where we've come across players who are very good in skill, there's no denying that, but when they try and call out locations, it's like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. So I think this is a nice little training aid for, as I said, beginners and pros alike, just to boost your map knowledge and to help out your communications for the rest of the squad, because communication in Fortnite is so important. I've been saying this for so long now. Even if you've got a good team of players and they don't communicate, you're not going to do anywhere near as good as an average team who communicate very, very well. So often the winning team is the team that communicates the best. Obviously sometimes you can get lucky with Storm and Loot and all the rest of it, but if your team doesn't talk at all, the chances of you beating a team that are communicating, especially on the same skill level, you're not going to do it. You can never have too much communication, you can never have too much intelligence when it comes to map knowledge, and of course enemy movements as well, because if you know where they are and they don't know where you are, then you've got an advantage, and that's just going to help you play a little bit better. But yeah, so that'll do it for today's video. As I said, just a nice little short guide. Hopefully you pick up a few landmarks that you didn't already know, and maybe you just, I don't know, I don't want to try and convert it to my way of calling things out, but if it makes more sense compared to what you're using originally, then I'm just saying. I mean, obviously, if you've got any feedback in terms of the map locations, if there's something that's more common than what I use myself, do let me know in the comment section below. I might update the video, I might update the blog on my website. But yeah, that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, consider tapping the like button. I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you know anyone who is struggling to learn the map or to learn the call outs, the locations, point them in the direction of this video. Point them in the direction of the guide on my website, where they can click on the picture and just zoom in, as I said, and just take their time and just learn the map, if nothing else. Because the thing with Fortnite is, I mean, okay, they have playgrounds mode where you can sort of explore, but it's very boring to just walk around on your own for an hour just looking at all the landmarks, and it's not quite the same as when you're in an actual game itself. So I understand that maybe not a lot of people are going to take the time to do that, which is why I created stuff like this, because I know that it's a lot better to see something visually. As I said, this is part 1. There is actually a part 2 that I'm working on as well at the moment, and this will probably go up at the weekend, if not early next week, hopefully. Tomorrow I will resume with the Uncharted 4 multiplayer gameplay commentaries. There's some stuff I want to talk about in that video because of some stuff that's going on in my life right now. So yeah, there's a reason why there's been a lack of videos over the past couple of weeks. But I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video, so hopefully you can check it out then and find out what's going on. But yeah, until next time, that'll do it for today's video. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.
And now it's hard to breathe.